Yo, guys, what's going on? I couldn't just do that normal video without giving you guys a quick update on what is happening across the board. Okay, then, so let's take it back to Sunday night stream when we were talking about the psychological high and the psychological low. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this strategy is for day trading purposes, all right? We're not about going to 100K or 200K, and we're not interested in Bitcoin going down to 10K. We're all about the quick momentum moves away from key notable areas. Now, if you are new to the channel, mad love and respect for passing through, and if it is your first time, be sure to like and subscribe. Welcome to Traders Reality. Now let's have a conversation about Bitcoin. So, over the last few hours, or since last night, all we saw Bitcoin do was just hit up and down this psychological range. Now, the psychological high and low are important because it's the market makers setting the spread for the rest of the week, and that is by starting off price at the start of the week with the first high and the first low, and that range is going to set the spread for them to build their positions. Now, we've had two instances when they've come away from the psychological low, which gives us the understanding that if they come back into the psychological low, that they could be looking at building longs from this position. Okay, as you can see, we've got 49,000, 48,000 and the 50k zone up here. Now, as you can see, you've got the drop down below the psychological low, and they brought price straight back up, stayed around the 49 zone. They came back down again one more time, spiked up, went back up above the 49, built more longs below that zone, came all the way back down again, formed a small W formation below the 48k. They came up, retraced back down, continuation to the upside. Okay, now with that being said, this is what I was projecting from last night. You can see the bookmap liquidity chart itself. This is an area where the vector candles were sat, which is where the bookmap liquidity was present in and around the 50k zone. And we had that up last night on the live stream. And what we were waiting for is price to come away from the psychological high, retrace, continuation to the upside. But we didn't get that. What we got was the basis of the pattern at the psychological low, which tells us that if the market maker comes down below the psychological low, but then tries to come back up above it and then forms a pattern, which you can see right here. So you got a W formation, very small one, rise, retrace, continuation up, then another pattern, retrace, continuation out of the zone. We've hit the 50k with a big green vector candle. Now, we're not out of the woods just yet, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and that's what I'm doing this video for. Don't get hyped up that this could be the move that Bitcoin makes and continues back towards the upside. If you remember back in the day when we did do that El Salvador drop, we saw exactly the same thing, and then price came back down again. Now, what's concerning me is the fact that price, the 50 EMA came back to price, not price coming back to the 50. All right, I would have preferred price to come back to the 50 EMA because we would have seen that retrace back up, and then price would have come back down, formulated the low, the second leg of the W formation, and then shifting out of the zone. Now, this could just be the actual midpoint of the W formation. We won't know until they actually reveal their hand. And if this pattern move right here, this green vector candle is the market maker trying to come out of the zone, well, then we would see the 200 EMA as the near-term resistance. But there's no cigar moment just yet, because all they can do, guys, is come back up towards this red vector candle right here and bring price back down again. All right, it's just not that much of a convincing move. Now, there's nothing wrong in you actually looking at this chart and saying, you know what, cool, I can exploit this little movement. I can take advantage of the fact that the market structure is showing a big drop to the downside. They've drifted price back towards the 50 EMA, or should I say the 50's come back towards the price, and now they've just come out with this big green vector candle. This green vector hasn't finalized at the highest point. Remember when we said last night that the range daily high and the range daily low are quite close to each other? So they're only hitting zones that they are able to because the range is so small. Until price breaks away from this zone with conviction, and we do actually see a move out of this zone, a retrace back down to test the psychological high, and then come away from the zone, then we will have clear conviction that they are trying to move price higher to recover these previous pools of liquidity that you can see in the chart. Okay, which is this zone here and this zone right here. Looking at Ethereum as well. Ethereum, monster play. All right, look at that. So this was a couple of entries that I was talking about with the Patreons themselves. We were just talking about understanding on the 5-minute time frame how to exploit really the basis of price in and around the psychological zones. And we saw this small W formation, and then price made a move to the upside, come above the daily open. So that was a nice successful trade right there. All right, still got the trade on, so we're all good in that instance. But looking at Ethereum, what we need to understand is the following. Ethereum has done a great job. Let me get rid of all of this stuff right here. Let me just sort this out right here to make it nice and clear for you. All right, then. Here we go. Now, just remove... what am I doing, bro? Let me just save this image for purposes later on. Happy days. All right, then. Let me remove those. Okay. So, even without the drawings on, you can see how the pattern has played out beautifully. Okay, the W formations come down below the range daily low, respected the range daily low, shifted out of the zone. The 1 hour time frame, the W formation of Ethereum is beautiful. The problem that I've got, guys, is this wick right here at some point is going to be visited again. Now, some of the guys are talking about how other coins have visited the previous wick, and now they're trying to come away from those zones. So let's give you an example. Atom is done just that. Where we at? Here we go. USDT, Cosmos, there we go. So look at that. Perfect, isn't it? It's come all the way down and recovered nearly all of the actual wick. Now they're starting to set up. This is really important, guys, okay? Because if it's happening on the altcoins, they've recovered the wick first. Could that be a setup for the altcoins now going to make some big moves to the upside? But that could also mean that Ethereum may not even come down to this wick just yet. They may not be finished yet. Okay? Until they break above this zone right here, if they do decide to come up to this point, we need to be cautious that they don't bring price back down again. Because this is an imbalance. They always come back to the imbalances. If they're going to come back to this little wick right here, you can damn well sure that they're going to be looking at coming back to this wick right here. Unless they have other things in mind. Now, remember, they can actually move price as far as they want, and then they can bring it down as far as they want as well. The imbalance of this wick right here is very important, and what's concerning me is that this move to the upside is appearing quite fast. They are looking at recovering the previous zones right here, and we may even see price stalling in and around this range. I want to at least see the price coming down towards this wick, because if all the other altcoins are doing just that, all right, so Atom has done it. What else has done it? Let me get up some altcoins right here just to put things into perspective for you. Coming away from, let's have a look at Super. Okay, so look, Super's done that, but they've gone beyond the actual wick. Trias has done it. LRC, Loopring has come down to the previous wick. Perfect formulation of W patterns. It's beautiful. Look at it. And you've got even these wicks right here being recovered. Chromium. Look, see, Chromium's actually come down towards the range daily low and formed this support from this point and come up towards the 50 and back inside their psychological range. Matic came down and recovered it. So we're seeing a plethora of coins actually coming back down into the wicks and then moving away from them. Why hasn't Bitcoin and Ethereum done that yet? Who's to say that they need to do it? That's the thing. We can make the assumption that they're going to come back to it at some point later on. But we have seen in the past, time and time again, that every time a wick appears in the chart, they come back towards it. Now, they are either trying to throw traders off in the belief that things are going to go down to this range, but they're not throwing us off because we can see that there is a pattern forming already. Now, though this pattern to the downside right here with the second leg is not long enough, and I'm not seeing the extension down lower, all right? Doesn't mean that we can't exploit it, but like I said, it's day trading strategies, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Ultimately, what we need to wait and see price do is coming into the Asian session that they're not going to just try and hit price in this range and come back down again and hit the vectors 1 and then 2 down in this range right here, okay? So we just have to be patient. If you're wanting to take trades, make your decisions purely based off the 15-minute time frame. Look at how they're riding the 50. Wait for the right retrace back down to test the psychological high. I want to see a test of the psychological high. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a test. If we don't get the test we will get the test at some point. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't it be great if we just saw price make a run for profit? All right? If I take you back to XRP, when they actually dropped everything across the board, XRP was the only coin that actually came back to recover that wick. Okay, so check this out. So if I zoom out, here we go. This was the zone right here. There it is. Do you remember this candle with XRP? Look at that. We had that big push to the downside. They came down and hit the wick low, and they did this behavior. They spiked up with XRP, recovered all nearly more than 50% of the red vector candle, and then they reversed price all the way back down again. So if we actually look at the 10th of September, what was going on with Bitcoin at that point in time? All right, so let me get Bitcoin up right here, just to put things into perspective. 10th of September, where we at? November. Let me bring up the hourly and show you what Bitcoin was doing in that range. October, here we go. 10th of September was right here. Okay then, so 10th of September, Bitcoin did not do the same move. Now it was obviously, there was a news play with XRP, but look what they did. They only came up and recovered. They didn't even recover the vector candle straight away. They left this zone right here. XRP made the move on the 10th of September, but not Bitcoin. And I'm just thinking, are we going to see exactly the same behavior? Because that move to the downside was an aggressive move to the downside. Same with Bitcoin. Look, big wick to the downside, candlestick, wicked out. They moved away from the zone and they came up. Then they came back down again. And then they came and spiked the low, and then they shifted out of the zone. And then they moved higher, and then they dropped it, and they consolidated for such a long time. And that is when they started making the move towards the upside to make the all-time high for Bitcoin. Okay? All I'm saying to you guys is to have your wits about you. Add confluence to confluence and confirmation on confirmation, guys. Because if you are feeling like you're missing out on a move right now, be careful, because we are approaching the range daily high and price tends to have a little bit of resistance when it hits these zones. So just be cautious. Don't fall for it. How many times have we seen these big green vector candles appearing? Okay? Now, as much as I would love to say that this pattern right here is going to play out and it's all happy days, we need to be mindful that this is not the actual midpoint of the W formation, where the market maker is making the retail traders who are trying to get in on the shorts here, or he's trying to hit their liquidation points for the guys who are already short. Okay, so what if he's hitting their liquidation points and he recovers all this red vector candle and then starts to move price back down again? So we just have to sit and wait, guys. Wait until they either formulate this pattern right here, and then on the lower time frames, wait for them to come back down and test key notable moving averages. Because look, the moving averages, price is above the 50, price is above the 5 and the 13 EMA, it's above the psychological high, but we haven't had a clean test of the psychological range just yet. We want to wait for them to pull it back down, to test the zone, and then come up. If they don't test that zone, you want to wait for the 5 and the 13 EMA to come and get closer towards price. So what you're waiting for is price to just do this sort of behavior, and the 5 and the 13 EMA will merge themselves close to price, and then the 5 and 13 EMA will act as floors and ride price, and price will bounce off those moving averages whilst it's moving higher. Do you remember Ethereum's move to the upside when all she did was just hold above the 5 and the 13 EMA? Exactly what you're seeing like this. That's exactly what you're waiting for in Bitcoin as well. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, mad love and respect to you. I hope this video does help you. All right, so just be mindful with this price action, guys. Okay, I'll quickly pull up the book map as well. What we can see is this is for Ethereum across the board. You can see there's a lot of limit sales hitting the zones up here. Looking at Bitcoin, you can see as well. Let me just pull it back. And what have we got? We've got a lot of liquidity up here at the 51 zone. They're going to try and bring price back down towards these areas to trigger the interest from traders at this point, and maybe spark some interest from traders at this zone right here, because there is a lot of absorption of limit buys in these zones. There it is right there. Look at that. You see that big push right there? That's an example of them trying to step in and test the intention of the interest at this point in the chart. Remember, we're at a key 50k 500 zone, so we're bouncing in and around that zone, but we are trading below the key 51 zone. Are they building their longs below key notable areas to smash through and get the best fill? Okay, if you do use bookmap, ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on the 51 500 zone and the 52 zone as well. It looks like the bookmap is in balance to limit sales, so they want higher prices, but that doesn't guarantee that price is going to rise from this point. So you just have to sit tight and wait. All right, wait for the pattern to come into play. Look, you can see it yourself. Rise, retrace, maybe continuation to the upside. Let's see what they've got for us. But you can see the big bubbles are coming in, which is the intention. Positive deltas are coming in, getting traders committed in this area. They may drift it down lower to get the interest from the traders in this zone and this zone here before they may decide to move price higher. All right? Forgive me if this has gone at the speed of light, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm trying to get this video done so you guys can keep an eye out on what's happening and take into consideration certain plays that could be coming into action in this coming evening and going into the Asian session tonight. All right? Remember, guys, tomorrow, 2 p.m., we roll out and do the New York session. Mad love and respect to every single one of you guys out there. Take care of yourselves. Peace.